My husband was in ministry, and his sexual betrayal has hurt our relationship with our church. How do I go about managing this and going back to church to worship with my kids? This is brutal. This is part of my story too, and my church did not handle it well either. You're probably still in the shock stage of the grief over the loss of how it went down with your church. You said it hurt our relationship with our church. What I don't know is, did they harm you? I don't know the details of your situation, but I'm guessing you're going to have to do some grieving over how this has impacted you. You're going to probably need to process the feelings that come with the losses that you've experienced, and this is really difficult. Grief, however, is a luxury for the brain that knows that it's safe. So you're still so early on, having discovered his stuff, that I would say that processing the pain of what you've went through with your church is not something that I would say you need to really press into and lean into right now, because you've got so many other big glaring issues like your trust with him. But eventually you will need to process the grief over how this impacted your relationship with your church and the public nature of him having been in ministry. Going back to church to worship with your kids is really tricky. I mean, are you going to go with your husband or alone without him? I would encourage you to prepare a statement of what you're going to tell people if you do go with him or without him. I would err on the side of less information is better, because most churches don't know how to handle this type of behavior. And with the knowledge that your husband was in ministry, there may be like this higher standard that they feel like he should be held to. There can be just a lot of judgment. Okay, so if you think of going back to church to worship as an experience where your children are going to get loved on and you're going to get a break because you can go into the service and you can worship on your own without kids clinging to you, I would look at it that way, and I would encourage you to dip your toe in before you rely on anybody emotionally or psychologically or spiritually for advice in a new church community, because generally speaking, people are not educated about this issue and they don't know what to do about it, and often cause more harm than help, unfortunately. However, in the meantime, women in the battle, we as a community get you, we love you, we understand this issue. We're not going to judge you. And ladies, we are the church, like the body. We are the body, right? The church is not a building. It is wherever Jesus lives in a person's heart. That is part of the church. And so I've had to reframe my level of trust in different people and forgive them for maybe the lack of knowledge.